Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders. Thanks to Sportsbet. I'm Roy. I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wanderers.
Calvin.
Coach of Governator.
What's that song I hear?
It is the Hawthorn one, and we get to see them down here at UTAS Stadium every now and then.
We do. It's always a great watch.
Sometimes it's a good watch. Sometimes it's not so good watch, depending on who you own at the time as well, because some of them had some good games and then some poor games. One of them,
yes,
we'll start there.
Yeah.
Like 2023, we had a fair bit of relevance, really, for fantasy.
I know where this is going.
Yeah, so.
Yep, the sick dog. We've got to start there. So he obviously had a pretty awesome year last year. So he's their top price player at $943K, which just feels ridiculous. That's because he averaged 104.5.
Yeah, he did.
Only played 19 games, though, Cal.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's what he does.
You remember why, don't you?
Yes. He's a starting option.
100%.
Oh,
Come on.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Come on.
I couldn't
No,
do it.
he's not.
Roy.
No, you don't pay up that much for a headache.
The thing is, though, we know how good he can be. So, like, you know, that 2 years ago, that grand final had that 151 and
Sure
had
did.
some massive scores. Like, so last year, he opened up the season with a 130. That was
Oh.
huge, and then had 6 120-plus scores for the year. So, and it was the ceiling scores. It was a 160 and a 165 in there. And he just does what he wants. Like, he points, he gets the ball.
He does.
He takes those marks, like ridiculous mark numbers. He plays on out of the square all the time.
But once a month, he's asked to defend as a defender.
Or
and
teams
it kills him.
Teams were putting tags on him.
That as well.
And that makes him an angry dog.
He does. He hangs his head.
If you're playing fantasy for like the fun, he's not a guy you want.
If you're a thrill seeker,
Yeah, he's your man.
get on it.
But he's a second-ranked defender.
Yeah.
So-
you'd draft early,
How early?
round 4. No, I'm only joking. He's draftable very early.
So that
Second
104.5 average, though,
Yes.
where do you see that for him? Like, is it near there again?
it's just fair. Because he's going to do his 150,
I think he's a couple under that. I
or is they
reckon.
going to
Yeah.
stink?
Yeah.
I think
All right, it will give me a line.
he is that good.
Give me a line, and do we think he goes over?
101.
Under? I'm going under then.
Are you really?
Are you?
Yeah.
You're a dog hater,
Dog,
though.
you just,
No, he
you
might
think
have to
about
defend.
it.
Hawthorn, as a club, you know, where they're at.
Yes.
Surely they try to get better.
Yes. That's a valid point.
And if they do get better, they're going to need sick to
See,
defend.
I 100% agree with that mindset that you've come out with there. But then Sam Mitchell, at one stage, I didn't see this coming, told him just to play his natural game.
Yeah,
which is to point and mark uncontested.
That's it.
And then he flourished again.
Yep.
And he had that massive marking game against St Kilda, where he was touted as the best player in the AFL.
That's right.
That was off being told to just play.
Yep.
But he'll still find a way to get suspended.
Oh,
There's that.
there's that, all
But
right.
that's not going to hurt his average because he's not hitting the park.
So we're talking about that relevance from last year. Another one was Will Day. He's lost his defender status now. So
Yeah.
and I think, you know, again, he's probably fairly priced with that 95 average.
Yeah.
That was a massive
Breakout.
It was
wasn't
huge.
it? Like, he went from a 60 to a 95.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was a no-brainer pick for us.
It was.
But it was good. He was interested in that, though. He got suspended.
Yeah.
And a few people jumped off.
Yes.
We held, which it
Yeah.
felt like it was the wrong thing to do. But,
Yes.
yeah.
I
That's a
know.
pretty good return.
It was
for
a great.
defender.
It was a great return. It was just we didn't get instant reward following
That's right,
the
when he came back
suspension.
in, yeah. Yep.
But no, he was a great pick, and he's a great player. He's just not relevant this year based
Yeah.
on that price as a midfielder.
Oh, mate, Warboy was another one with a massive, like, 30-point increase, I think it was.
So that has to be ticked off as a good pick. That one,
yes.
Yeah.
at the start of the year.
It
doesn't
was. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Didn't feel like it, though.
No.
I think he got his scores late.
Yeah.
Later in the season. Like, he didn't get that,
No.
what you want with that mid-price pick that's not a keeper. You want it earlier so they get up there quicker.
Yeah.
But he played every single game, improved his average by 30 odd points.
So selfishly as a coach, he just didn't do that at the right times
No.
for it to be the awesome pick that it sounds like it was.
Now, I don't think that, well, you might have Sicily as one of your primo options, but I guess we're looking at players that could be options for 2024. We'll think classic as well, and drafters in there with this as in what we're thinking. But I'll go with Dylan Moore here. Okay,
Yes.
so Dylan Moore, we were looking at him this time last year, thinking that he could be an option because pretty much he was coming off an average of 93.3, had the forward status, and you're going, yep, you could be one of our premiums. And so he actually went backwards a bit, so he dropped 5 points off that. But why we liked that was because prior to the 2022 bye, he hadn't attended a centre bounce.
Yep.
After that, he went at 42% of the centre bounces. Yep. So that's where his scores came. So he actually averaged significantly 101. So he took that up a fair bit. So he's a 101 averaging forward. Bingo.
I know.
That's awesome, especially in 2024 it would be. But then this year he just didn't do that. In 2023, he wasn't that guy. Like he didn't have the midfield clock. Because of things like Warple getting back in there, Will Day as well, that sort of stuff.
So Connor Nash had the most CBAs, 436.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Moore, 16.
Yeah.
Like he could not have been any further away. Yeah.
And that's what we need though from him. For him to be that premium scorer, but then we've got a forward line that's cooked.
But he's still got to 88.
Yeah.
I know.
So he can actually still score without
Is he going to be under 88?
No.
Oh, well, you wouldn't think so.
Because he's not going to get less than 16 CBA.
He ranks as the sixth.
Surely.
The sixth best forward.
See, that's concerning. Hear that?
That's a huge worry.
Tex Walker's the 12th.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
I have Moisey.
I won't cross off Dylan Moore.
Definitely not.
Here's the question then that's on the AFL.com.au article. This is a well-written one. Will you start Dylan Moore in AFL Fantasy Classic? Yes, he's a good option. I'm thinking about it. No, there are better options.
I'm doing what you always do and just go that middle one. I'm thinking about it. Right?
Yeah. I'm heavier on the no.
Yeah.
But if
I'm thinking about it is heavier to know.
Well, if they came out and said he's actually going back to the midfield, well, then I'd be in that thinking about it. But I'm not thinking about it.
But does he? That's the thing. I don't think he really does. Yeah, so the next one to be considering here, and this is probably that draft type thing, is Jai Newcombe.
Yeah.
Can score.
Yes, he can.
Can score. We all remember, what was it, 14 tackles on debut? Something like that.
Yeah. He had a
ridiculous.
big day down here too at one stage last year.
Yeah.
Killed it.
He did have some big days. So, he was that mid-season draftee. That was the thing that we remember. So he averaged 4.3 tackles last season, but he just increased everything in the stat lines. That's what he was all about. So needs to get the ball on the boot if we want him to be that real fantasy option for us, because he was averaging 11 kicks, 14 handballs.
Oh, Nuke.
But for some players,
flip that.
that's the thing. But you flip that, then he's 100 plus.
Yep.
And he's an option there for us. Especially, draft is probably where you're thinking, what does that look like? He's going to be one of the bulk CBA guys.
Yeah.
So you've got to be considering things on that end, I reckon, for Duke. Now, Connor McDonald was one that I just wanted to have a little bit of a flag and a bit of a think of. Probably draft is, again, where you'd be looking for him. So he's a forward. If you're thinking classic, it's a 638K. He's got that 71 average next to his name.
Yeah.
This is that bracket that you're kind of going, can this guy be, like, can he just have that natural progression? You know, is that a third-year breakout?
Way!
Is that the one, though, like you see there? So so that's 71 average. His last 5 games, he averaged 87. So there's that sort of, is that a positive thing? How he finished the year? Is that how he's going to pick it up? So that there would rank him then in draft as a top 10 forward.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Breakout?
Well, potentially.
Yeah.
Breakout?
Yeah.
Could be.
He can score.
If there was a poll on that, I'd answer the second one.
Would you?
Yep. Potentially, it would say.
What about Guinea?
Right. Well, yeah. See, I just don't think so. What my issue here for Ginnivan is, where is he? What's he priced at? Didn't even. Really
He's 413.
There he is. So with him is that he's got his old mate, and this is the new bloke that's just like him. They're drafting Nick Watson, the wizard.
Yes.
He's the one. So he's very good. Like, he had decent enough fantasy numbers, but he's going to be a small forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're both going to be small forwards.
Yeah.
And I think that the points will be sporadic from week to week because of how they go and what small forwards do anyway.
Yeah.
It's just there's, the couple of similar mouths to feed in that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
What about your boy, Massimo?
Massimo, yeah, well, at that 51, he's priced at, so his discount comes off the one from 2 years ago. So, might be one again for a deep draft that you're looking at.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what Sam Mitchell's really going to do there.
No.
But
No, I think that he's got his
traded
midfield
in.
pretty well set.
Yeah, and that's not what. Yeah,
Like you look at the CBAs from last year, there's not much variation.
Nah.
yeah.
He's got that worked out. It's just these others.
So a value there as well is Denver Grainger-Barras.
Yes.
He's one that's probably worth considering because he's under 300k at 275. So that price him at 30.5, but his numbers aren't a lot.
Why doesn't he ever score? Like, why doesn't he?
And he doesn't
ever-
even play enough. That's the other thing. Like, where is he on their thing? 'Cause
I don't know.
He was
It's
quite a
bizarre.
high draft pick,
Yes.
wasn't he?
Yeah,
Like
he was.
7 games is all he got last
Yeah,
year.
Yeah.
It's odd, isn't it?
But it's that sort of thing that might be. I had to write about him because dual
Yeah.
position tempter.
Yeah.
They've got 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was the old Wizard Watson, who had to be the rookie guy that we talked about, the bargain basement. But anyway, Grainger-Barras at that 275. I wrote, gets the gig here almost by default. But anyway,
His
goodness
mum would
me.
read that.
3 years into his AFL career, his average has gone backwards. So,
He would have been
Anyway.
excited to see his name.
Yeah.
thing is, he's basically a forward, though, and that's what he was doing for Box Hill. So if he's going forward, that's not going to be great for fantasy prospects. If he was that defender that he has played in his career,
Yeah.
that might be all right. But I don't know. At that price, though,
Look,
a defender forward swingman
Yeah.
that gets a game round 1, you'd have to consider it.
He's
So
a lot better than his price and averages suggest.
He had a great score of 85
Sure he
for the
was.
Box Hill Hawks.
There you
Guess
go.
how many goals it took him to get 85?
Oh, stop at 5.
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Oh.
So, like,
Fair
it's
enough.
just... It's a tricky one. Hawks are tricky. Anyway, what about their rucks? Like, are they just going to go Ned Reeves as the number 1 ruck? Where does that put Lloyd Meek? Like, that stuff when we're thinking about
Yeah.
our draft rankings, like,
Yeah,
they're just
gosh,
not
if
there,
you,
are they?
If you,
it's a
leave
do
it
not
that
touch.
late, you would be devastated because your year is over if you get one of them.
It's hard. Hawks were hard.
Oh, you did an
They're up
amazing
there.
job, though, Warren.
Yeah, well done, dog.
Thanks. Great. You can go read about that a little bit more at afl.com.au. If you go /fantasy, you'll find all of the fantasy content. Follow us on social media at AFL Fantasy and all the usual places. And there's lots of stuff coming through on that.
You've been listening to the official AFL Fantasy podcast. For more expert advice from the traders, head to afl.com.au/fantasy.